Hey guys, my name is Dran, and today I'm going to be telling all 1,300, that's a lot, subscribers my favorite forearm exercises. And if you're new here, the first thing you gotta know about me is that I love grip strength. I don't know why exactly I was drawn to grip strength, but having the ability to squeeze something really hard is cool, but also kind of funny. I mean, it's like going up to your friend and being like, watch this. Then crushing an apple in your hand. Your friend will definitely be impressed, but mostly they'll be saying, dude, why did you waste that apple? I don't know, I just wanted to show you my grip strength. You didn't think about like bringing a bowl and putting it underneath? No, I just thought, you know. Yeah, well now it's wasted. I just cleaned these boards, dude. Stop it! Yeah, that's usually how it goes. But anyway, today, I thought to share my favorite forearm exercises that, of course, still build grip strength. I'll give you my pros and cons to each one and what makes them my favorite. Before we start, I just want to say I'm not a sports scientist, fitness expert, or really anybody. I'm just a guy that likes grip strength a tad much. So I do my best to explain what these exercises do and focus on, but if you want to know more in depth, then I suggest you take the exercises in question and do your research if you're interested. Otherwise, these are all my opinions. So let's start. Number 1, grippers. I think it's safe to say if you're not using a gripper, you're missing out on a huge power boost from Dragon Ball. These little things can improve your grip strength by a lot, which can also help you in your other exercises. Basically, any exercise that involves you gripping onto handlebars and pushing or pulling, it'll make a big difference. You can use these things anywhere, they're fun, and very straightforward. It's what I first started with, and I still use it to this day, though not as much anymore. I made it up to the COC 1.5, which is 167.5 pounds, though since then I've plateaued, so that freaking sucks. But I still don't regret buying all of them and using them. Speaking of buying, there's a lot of different grippers being sold by every company it seems. But when I first started, I went for Captains of Crush just because it seemed to be the golden standard. And if I started all over again and had to buy a new gripper, I'd just buy one that's high quality and can switch difficulties on the fly instead of a new gripper for each difficulty. I bought all of them anyway because I'm a crazy person, so don't do what I do. My workout routine with them is literally busting out a bunch of reps with them while I'm watching some anime or at a place where I can autopilot and get some reps in. For these times, I wasn't going hog wild on the hardest gripper. Usually I'd start small, then work my way up, but you do whatever you want with them. They're pretty versatile. They're my favorite because they build your grip strength and are extremely handy. Not to mention, they're a bit of a hobby with so many different types of grippers being out there. They're just a lot of fun. Here are the pros. Fantastic to start with, can do them anywhere, anytime, helps in more than one area, builds a foundational strength, cheap to invest in for how much value you're getting. To follow that, one great gripper will last you an eternity, probably, and especially if it's a gripper that can change difficulty easily and effectively. And now here are the cons. Once you reach your plateau, it will take a long time to overcome it. Can't say for sure because I'm still trying to overcome mine. It can rough up your hands if you care about that sort of thing. And money! Money! It costs money! Number 2, wrist curls. Tried and true, it never fails, so it has to be here. If you've looked into forearm training, then this exercise is one you've definitely heard of, and so you might be wondering, is it really all that? And ding 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 ding, yeah, pretty much. I won't say it's the end-all be-all, but it definitely will make your forearms pop, especially if you've never touched forearm exercises. The reason why these are so good and best for beginners is because they directly target the big parts of your forearm, like the top half and the bottom half. For as great as they are, they do get pretty boring though, so I haven't really stuck with them as much as I should have, but I still got gains out of it. These are definitely the first ones I would recommend to anybody just starting out. My routine with these isn't like a traditional 3 sets of 10 or anything, because currently, I'm doing them to increase my wrist strength. Got my own little game theory on how to do that, so I just sit down and bust out reps till failure pretty much. I'm only doing them this way because I've done them so much that I'm kind of just experimenting at this point. Will it work? I don't know. Is it fun? Yeah. Here are the pros. Classic exercise that indeed adds mass. Fun to do and simple. Can progressively overload it effectively. Now for the cons. Boring after a while, can be painful to your wrists if you improperly perform it or overdo it. So just don't be an idiot, alright? Just don't be an idiot. Number 3, the Pronator strap. So just like how the wrist curls target the top and bottom parts of the forearm, this targets the inner side, aka your pronator. Basically, this exercise is a conditioning beast. It's basically mimicking the movement in arm wrestling and can be used to get better at that if you're interested. If not, then it will just condition the hell out of your wrists and develop your pronator. Ooh. My routine with this exercise is simply going close to failure, just so I don't strain any part of my arm off of this. I enjoy these a lot because it feels like I'm really building my forearms to get thicker and handle more stuff in the real world. You can also do this with a stick with one weight on the opposite end, but honestly, it didn't feel that great and it wasn't very fun either. I see that specific exercise mentioned a lot for attaining pronation and wrist strength, but I've never been a fan. I personally just use a strap like this. It feels a lot more freeform and satisfying, to be honest, and it's cheap. Here are the pros. It can be pretty satisfying depending on which one you use. Don't need to count reps, just bust them out. You can do them every day to condition, and finally, it's easy to get started. Now for the cons! It can take a while to get started on a daily routine because you need to condition first. It can be a little boring if you can only do high reps with a low weight at the start, and it can be dangerous to your wrists if done wrong or you push yourself too far. Number 4, grip holds and fat grips. So I'm lumping these two together since they basically do the same thing. And they're both my favorite. If you don't know, grip holds are unique shapes that you grip onto that are attached to weight. Fat grips simply make a handlebar thicker, but grip holds include more shapes and sizes that introduce variety. Holds in general are a lot more challenging because you have to use your entire hand to grip this thing, especially your fingers, and since your fingers are connected to your forearms, it'll help build your forearm. Even if it doesn't show, you'll definitely attain strength from this. If this reminded you somewhat of rock climbing, then you're not far off. In fact, rock climbing is basically just that, holds. They're just attached to a wall. This is why a lot of rock climbers have strong fingers, cause they're holding up their body weight from these hard to grip holds. I find holds to be very engaging because not every hold is the same and everyone's hand shape can change how you approach it. For example, if you have smaller hands, then the cap hold would be not that hard for you since you can just shove more of your fingers in the corners to get a better grip. Whereas if you have big hands, then this hold will challenge you a lot more since there's no room for your fingers to get a good hold on. But if you have bigger hands, then something like the block hold would be easier since more of your hand can latch around this block. In my case, my hands are average as fuck, so I don't excel at anything. In fact, my fingers are kinda crooked, so yeah, I don't know if that's working in my favor or not. Probably not, but the point still stands as to why these are one of my favorites. You can always change it up, set PRs for yourself, and see directly how you compare with others in the same field, and of course, it don't take much to do. Caveman pick up rock. Caveman put down rock. Very good. Now, as for fat grips, they really just turn any exercise with the dumbbells or barbells into a forearm exercise. My personal favorites are hammer curls with fat grips, as I feel that targeting the top half of my forearm, but that's just a feel thing. I don't really know if it's actually doing that, but they do feel pretty great. You can also cop a lot of these holds and fat grips for cheap depending on where you look and what material they're made of. Here are the pros for the fat grips. It can turn any exercise into a forearm exercise, and it's an effective way to engage forearms in regular exercises, so you're doing a little bit of a multitask. As for holds, they're satisfying and difficult, it targets your fingers, and they're fun to get new PRs on. And now for the cons. Bringing holds to the gym can be kind of annoying if you don't have them set up in your home. You might not care, but I think it's pretty annoying to have a duffel bag full of holds and just hear iron clanking together and just, I don't know, I think it's just really annoying. Whenever I've gone to the gym with holds, I have been stared at, just picking up a shape and putting it back down a bunch. Not very fun, but it's whatever, I guess. Pricey depending on what material you get, and can't think of anything else to be honest. Before we go on to the next one, if you're enjoying this grip strength type of content, then let me know. Engagement on videos helps me to know if you guys want to see more of this sort of stuff, so you know what to do. If you don't, just hit the subscribe button or like the video. Thank you! On to the next one! Last but not least, farmer carries. Hey, you there. putting this in your second monitor while you play a game. Listen up. Have you ever wanted to feel like a farmer working on the farm? There's a term called farm strength that comes from living on a farm and lifting heavy stuff all day long. The heavy stuff in question also being quite unstable and difficult to lift for long periods of time. And after some time of this sort of exercise, you eventually become an absolute unit. Unfortunately, I know most of you aren't on a farm. In actuality, we're all just putting up a video on our second monitor while we game. But wouldn't it be nice to attain even a percentage of strength that farmers have? Well, I've got just the thing for you. Farmer carries. Now I know what you're saying. Farmer carry, that targets the whole dang body. And you're right, dear viewer. But what is the thing that you rely on to carry all that load? Your grip strength. And that leads us back to the forearms. Basically, the better your grip is, the more gains you'll get. And walking around with heavy weight will inevitably get unstable, and that's exactly what makes this exercise different from the rest. You're constantly asserting control over what you're carrying. You have to keep it stable, or you'll just explode or something. Uncle John over there has been doing farmer carries with stacks of hay all day, every day. You think if he's got a grip on something, he'll let go anytime soon? Wrong. Uncle John's got endurance in his grip strength, and that's really cool. It's one of my favorites because of the functional aspect of it. If I have to carry a bunch of stuff in the real world, then I know I can do that with ease. Basically, any kind of physical labor becomes easier. It's challenging and also builds the rest of your body. Now, the only thing that I think makes this exercise not the best is simply because you have to have a place to perform it. And, yeah, about that. Some of us don't have that luxury. So you do have options. You could pick up the weight and not move. It's not the best, but you're still fighting gravity. Or you could find a small area to walk back and forth from in either your home or a gym. The choice is yours. Me personally, I just find a place to do them in my home, but if I'm ever at the gym, I do them. I do be just waddling around with weight sometimes. The pros, very enjoyable and engaging. Fantastic for building strength and endurance. Has a functional aspect to it that translates into daily life things. Builds great grip strength. And now for the cons. Needs space for walking, which may not be ideal. And you need a lot of weight to challenge yourself properly. And that's it. These are my favorite forearm exercises to do on a rotation, and if you were thinking that my dream physique is to look like a goblin with only huge forearms and hands, then you may be right. This video is also sponsored by... Wait, don't click off. It's sponsored by me. It's sponsored by me! I just dropped chapter 2 of my manga, Zombie Sword Girl. So if you're interested, the link will be in the description. I want to thank my sponsor, that's me, thank you, for making this video happen and for making a manga. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, and subscribe! Goodbye, Forearm Bros.